You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Deception After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Deception After Show.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, After Buzzers. Bing is for doing, and this week we're doing the first season of the 7th episode of NBC's Deception, called Tell Me is the episode. I'm your host, Thaddeus Massey, and joining me this evening is...
Megan Thomas. How you guys doing?
And Bamm Ericsen.
Megan Thomas and Bamm Ericsen. Yes.
This episode, man.
This season, or this show, is intensifying every episode, and it's being clarified by the Twitter followers that are mentioning how much more they're getting hooked in to the show, which is really good for NBC. And I think they're breaking away from that whole it's like Scandal and it's like revenge thing, which is good. So going into, let's just jump right into it because there's so much to cover in a short amount of time.
Where do we start?
Let's start with Joanna and this bakery situation.
Yeah.
She's so eager to jump in and do some cop work. I think she feels like she's just kind of sitting around and not doing a whole lot because she's used to running junkies downstairs and jumping on them and beating them up and arresting them. This is more of an investigative as opposed to an action, hands-on type of thing.
But my problem with that is she went there with no gun.
How do you go to investigate and you have no weapon?
And so she's not in the house anymore, so she should be able to, strap it, hide it somewhere, even... although she's staying at Julian's house, she should still be able to keep her gun somewhere in a safe place. And so when she went down to the bakery where there's the Russian mob, she should have went with the gun.
Do you think she's being a little overzealous?
Yes.
I think so. But I think it's because because she's so eager to find out who killed her best friend, and she's so far deep in now, she's like, we've got to figure this out. So she's willing to do any and everything to make sure that this gets solved. Okay,
so go ahead, Bamm, you're going to say something.
And then, so once she gets to the bakery and she's there to buy pastry, then Nicolette, the tabloid, comes in. What is it?
Nicole.
I'm sorry, Nicole. Nicole comes in and she just starts talking out loud.
God.
You're a reporter, you're a cop. Who...
Why did she? That's what I don't understand. How would you?
That's annoying.
Why would you just come into something? Because here's how she started off. She's like, your name's Joanna. I know who you are. Okay, that's great. So if somebody said that to me, I would be like, okay, well, hold on. How do you know me?
Right.
Okay, pull me to the side. Cool, let's have a conversation.
And she's
just saying this all out loud in the open. You're a cop. I know you're a cop. Are you doing some deep investigative undercover stuff for the Bowers? Are you okay, great. So then here comes the guy from the back with the pastries, and he's looking, and he's like,
right.
He recognizes Joanna because guess what? He tried to steal the laptop from them in the Bahamas, and then it clicks to her.
It clicks to her.
Then the other guy comes in.
And then they start speaking Russian. The guy comes in from the phone from outside, the heavily used phone, pay phone that's outside the business.
And she's like, oh, crap. And then she just comes out of nowhere with this... Right hook to the face. Wow.
I personally would not have saved Nicole. I would have let her ass get killed.
Why?
That's just not the way. I've seen paparazzi people in LA, and they're not. It's just blatant in the face. You don't know your surrounding. If you are a tabloid person, you know that your surroundings.
The reporter.
She should have knew that was a Russian bakery, and the way that she's blabbing, I would have left her to hang and let her get killed.
Well, even if she.
So what? Who cares?
I mean, she doesn't. The thing is, Joanna doesn't know who she is. So in the midst of this investigation, she has to, it's her responsibility, I would think, to put a lid on it and find out who she is, because say they don't kill her. Who say they just torture her, or say she runs out screaming and she gets away. Who knows what happens? I mean,
that's a good point.
You know, she doesn't know who or what, and everything is happening kind of quickly.
And I think the point is you don't want anybody to die, even if they have secrets about you. Her point is she's a cop, so she's always trying to make sure and preserve life versus kill people. So I think, you know, at this point she's like, come on, let's go. I don't know who you are, but you're going to die. This is Russia. This is the mafia. Clearly, I mean, at this point, she doesn't even know they're Russian mafia. Because Will finds that out. And he comes to save the day. But she's just like, all I know is these guys are speaking Russian. I've seen this guy before trying to steal the laptop. And now he's got a gun.
And let's also just make it known that it was revealed to Nicole that her other gossip buddy got the information that she was a cop. So they swapped information. So, but anyway.
Well, actually, who she spoke with, the girl who got arrested by.
Yeah, the very first episode.
Yeah, very first episode. But to me, there was two stupid things as far as this was concerned with these characters. Not on the writer's part, but the character's part. The character, Joanna, she goes in with no gun, which is really stupid because she's overzealous. And you mentioned that, how she goes in with no gun. And she just needs to stick to the script and cover the Bowers and leave the ancillary investigation, I think, to the FBI and let them do their job. Her job is to stay close to the Bauer family. Secondly, this damn reporter, I mean, if you know she's a cop, how do you know she's not undercover? How do you know what's going on? Why would you? That's just so stupid. That's so dumb. It's like being extra super thirsty for a story. It's like really ridiculous.
Well,
but
I mean,
it's realistic.
She's kind of like that. She's kind of like that.
It's really realistic. So now her cover is blown. And what do you think this is going to go? I mean, we can talk more about it in predictions, but I mean,
I think if you've seen in all the other episodes, anybody who knows that Joanna's a cop dies. So, Nicole, you're probably next.
Right.
It's just the luck of the draw.
I don't know, because Joanna, there has to be, I think that always keeps some kind of leverage with the cops having something hanging over their head.
Which I think it was what we see because Will tells Nicole, he was like, hey, I didn't know you're Canadian. Oh, you have a visa, so your visa says you're supposed to be working at this magazine. Oh, you don't work there anymore, which means deportation. So he's kind of like, you know, so she's kind of like, are you serious? You deport me? So he's like, you know, don't say anything about Joanna and we're cool, we're good.
Right.
Basically, you say something, you're going back to Canada.
Right, pretty much. So Will comes and saves the day. He brings Joanna back to the office and he says, look, you got to go to this function tonight. You know, is everything okay? And he pulls her to the side before she leaves and he plants one on her. Like, it was
I thought they weren't supposed to be having office romances.
I mean, he's like, I feel like they made her the guy and she's like the girl. I mean, he's like the girl.
Yeah,
I can see that.
Role play it.
Yeah.
Like as far as the role reversal is concerned, he's like, I just wanted to make sure you're okay.
So why can't guys be like that instead of women? Why does it have to be such a male trait? Why can't women just be strong and not all?
No, there's nothing wrong with her being strong. I just feel that it was very, very...
It's very sexist of you to say.
No, I just think it was,
What you got?
Bam, you want to help me out with this one?
It has nothing.
I think everybody out there in AfterBuzz land will agree with me. I think that, I think the Deception followers would agree.
And so basically, Will's a girl and Joanna's a dude. Is what?
No, I'm not saying Joanna's a dude. I'm just saying
their mannerisms.
The role that Will's character has taken, it seems a little.
Little girly?
A little girly.
Oh, you calling him a girl?
Well, it's like he's letting her wear. It's not. It's not. I know. It's not like he's. It's not like she's wearing the pants, but it's like he's taking more of a submissive role in this situation, in this scenario.
Correct.
Yes.
It's not very.
I'm not gonna say submissive. I'll just say he's a little more emotional than she is.
It's not very manly. I'll say that.
Being emotional is okay for a man.
Showing emotion and being emotional are two different things.
Yes.
But that's a whole other subject.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So Edward investigates.
So yes. So then here we have now this episode. I think Edward is like he's at a climax. He's at his pinnacle. He sends his family away.
Right.
He says, "Get out of here. It's gonna get dirty." He's ready to get brawling, and he finds out through his investigator because he pulled. If you remember a couple episodes ago, he pulled the files from the server at Bowers Pharmaceutical.
Right.
He had a guy go through these and realized what he was looking at was the payoffs to the families of the people who died because of the Lyritrol test in Thailand. And so now he knows what Vivian was telling him was the truth.
Right.
That people did die. 27 people did die. And not only that, but the company that paid off these families is owned by his father.
Right, Zolocor.
Yes.
Zolocor, right? Is that
I think
what it's called?
that's what it's called, yes.
That was, it wasn't shocking, but to see Edward go through this, I feel like Edward has all the integrity in the world and has all the makeup of what it would be to be a great leader, and he's just stuck in this crappy family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's received the raw end of the deal on every scenario because he's related to his father and Julian, the punk little brother. I feel bad for this guy.
And do you think that Edward, more so because of he's unsure if he killed or if he not killed, do you think it's more of his conscience that just wants to do good because he think he potentially killed someone?
No, I think that he's naturally like that. I mean, this guy wanted to run for office, and I think he probably would have become some kind of, governor, congressman, senator. He would have ended up being holding some kind of political office. And I just think that I still believe that he's been framed for this murder. I still don't believe that he really did this murder, and I think that's something Haverstock is holding over his head. But going back to his investigation, we find out also that Ben was tased into getting hit by the bus. So that's also very interesting, and I wonder if that's somewhat related or tied to this Kyle, who's got Kyle on the payroll, who Kyle's working for. For some reason, I feel like those two things might be related in some kind of roundabout way. Even though we see Haverstock and Kyle are in bed together now, but we'll come back around to that, which is very interesting. So yes, Edward investigates.
Yes, and then so Edward, with this newfound information, he goes to the Bowers Pharmaceutical event to that night.
Yeah.
And he tells his brother, he's like, "Yo, what Vivian was telling us is true. There's people that died, and so this is Julian's baby. Lyritrol is his baby." So he's like, "No, we already know there's only 2 people that died. The other 2 people had cancer or something beforehand, so that's a lie." He's like, "No, I saw the documents, I saw the payoffs, I saw everything." So of course Julian's mad, and Julian's like, you're just mad because you got framed for killing somebody, and you found that you really did kill her.
Right.
Like, so I'm sorry that you're a murderer. So of course this sets Edward off, and they start scrapping at their event.
He mushes his face.
He does.
I cannot believe he mushed his face and then he clocked him. He mushed his face, then he clocked him.
That's a serious brother fight right there.
That's like, really, wow. I'd beat his ass.
And this
I
is
really
all
would.
while their father is explaining to everyone that, Lyritrol has been approved by the FDA and will get released in 3 weeks.
Let's talk about that approval by the FDA. So what had to happen in order for them to get approved by the FDA? Bamm, Megan, you guys want to expound on that? Because, when Robert had that heart-to-heart with Julian about where they've gotten and how they've gotten there, it was like, do I have to explain everything to you now? You're a grown man. Like, really?
Yeah.
Like, we haven't made it this far, and I haven't gotten us this far by not...
a clean fight.
Right, by fighting clean.
Taking the high road, as it says.
Exactly, by taking the high road. So it's like, do your part.
Yeah, and he's like, "Be my son."
Right,
Do your
be
part.
my son. I was like, that was so gangster. But Julian had a check. He had what check?
Julian
right there.
then says, "I can get arrested," and he was like, "Don't get caught."
Then don't get caught.
He's like, "That should be the title of your parenting book."
Right. that was really funny little quip that he threw in there.
So what happens is Julian goes to see the guy who I guess is part of the FDA, and he basically bribes him and says, "Here's money. Your son's not too smart, and we want him to go to Yale. So here, take this money. Just make sure Lyritrol goes through." And sure enough, he pushes the drug through, and so it can get released before their competitor's drug.
Right.
Which is very interesting because the competitor is Julian's ex-girlfriend. She's a consultant for the competing drug.
Yes, that is a hairy situation with that. So that's going to be interesting to see how that develops and see what information she's going to be able to pull out of him, because it seems like she's like the fallback girl emotionally as well, since Joanna is not being too receptive.
Yeah, she shot him
to
down.
his advances.
That hurt my feelings when she was like, I don't feel the same way. And
He was like, I want to go back to the Bahamas, Joanna. What are you doing?
I know, right? I felt bad for him. He was just sitting there like, wow. And let me take this drink. Okay.
All right.
He tried to put his heart out there. Does that ever happen to you guys? Put your heart out there and a girl just smushes it?
No, but I do know some people that's happened to. And it's not.
About himself? You know how you say,
No.
like, yeah, I have a friend.
No.
You have a friend?
No. See, you guys in podcast land, you guys can't see me. You guys go on YouTube and you can see me.
Yes, and you can also see and hear more of us on iTunes. Make sure you check us out, the Deception After Show on AfterBuzz TV. Rate and comment because we love to hear from you. We love to hear your thoughts and we respond. And also make sure you tell your friends, your uncles, cousins, everybody you know to subscribe to our podcast. It's really quick. It takes like 5.39 seconds.
Bam, just like that. Bam. Bam.
Bam, bam.
Bam, bam. So, what do you guys think about this whole FDA getting paid off thing? Do you think that's a bad look for the FDA? Or you think that's a normal part of American society and culture?
Yeah,
Pretty
much.
Capitalistic society. It happens a lot.
Pretty normal. Paying off the FDA to get. So, the FDA has gone ahead and approved Lyritrol. They get into the fight, Edward and his brother. And now we see there's going to be a crap storm as a result of this next week, as we saw in the upcoming previews for next week.
I think what is more interesting is what's going on right now with Sophia, though.
You know what? This situation with Sophia is very interesting because even though it seems like she has stuff going on, I think her stuff it involves the family and a lot of what's going on way more than it would seem. It's not immediate. It's kind of peripheral, but not really. It seems peripheral, but it's really not. It's really kind of the foundation for a lot of the drama.
Yes, and I think that now that we see some of the drama that's going on in her life, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in the next episodes, because in this episode, you know, we see it change. First, she's like the strong, you know, nobody messes with my family woman. And now we see a more vulnerable side to her because her baby Mia is like not coming home. She's sad.
Right.
She's lost her mind. She's like, everybody thinks I'm horrible because I raised somebody else's daughter. Like,
Right.
her family's in shambles. So she's going through it. And then we see it's because she's got kind of a deep, dark past. We find out that she's got an ex-boo thing that is in prison. And he calls her and he's like, hey, thank you for, you know, I guess the money that she gave to Teo was to help him. And he's like, thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Teo?
Yeah. Huh? No. The guy, Teo Aggressor.
Oh, okay, that's Teo. Okay.
So anyway, so we find out that this ex-boyfriend Wyatt his parole has gotten moved up,
Yes.
and now she's scared. Because apparently in a
didn't look happy.
flashback, you saw in the flashback she had.
there was like blood all over the place. And they were looking down at the body or something somewhere in the middle of a room, apartment or something.
Yeah, and it looked like she killed whoever it was because she had all the blood on her. She's like,
Right.
it's so much blood, and he was like, it's gonna be okay.
Right.
So maybe he took the fall for her, and that's why he's in prison.
Yeah.
All right. So she has this little dinner meeting, or was it lunch, late lunch, early dinner, whatever it is, with Haverstock. So
Who
what was
she
that?
knows very well.
Yeah. So what was that all about? Because that seemed very, 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 very sketchy. And then you learn a little bit more about their background. It seems like, was she like the jump off back in like 70 or 80 something, and now she ended up finally getting wiped up by somebody, and it happened to be Robert.
I think Haverstock and Sophia, maybe they were, what's the word I could say that's appropriate? Maybe they were homie lover friends.
Homie lover friends.
And then,
buddies.
right, and then somehow, some way, he kind of passed her along to Bob, and that's how the two of them got together.
Yeah, because he does make a mention that I introduced you guys, and this is
Right.
a charade. Oh, so you really? And she's like, no, I really do love him. And he's like, oh, well, I guess I should take some credit because I introduced you guys.
Right.
And so, you know, we find that she has had some relations with Haverstock, and he knows her ex-boyfriend Wyatt, And she
does he know? Or
he knows the situation.
Who he is.
He knows who he is.
Yeah,
and he knows the situation. And he did say 2 rednecks.
Yeah.
So he knows them.
Yeah, he knows. Right.
He knows of them somehow, some way. And she asks him for a favor, which is, can you make sure he does not get released when his parole comes around? And he says, all right, but you owe me.
But the way that she did it, she's like, I need Wyatt to stay in jail, and he was like, okay, but you're gonna owe me. But just the way his response was, okay, he didn't even think twice.
Because I think he knows it benefits everybody in this situation for Wyatt to stay in prison for some reason.
Right.
And we'll probably find that out later.
I'm sure we will. And I'm sure there has to be something to do with Haverstock, because Haverstock's a dirty SOB. I mean, he has a lot of skeletons in his closet. I'm sure there's going to be more skeletons that come out with this guy. So, yeah, Haverstock, dirty SOB.
Yeah.
John Larroquette's playing the hell out of that part. That part. Night Court. Love you, John.
Oh, yes, Night Court. But I
John the man.
But I think it's a good thing to see this side of Sophia, because now we see something different from her, that she really does care for Mia, and they have a, you just don't see her as this rich, highfalutin woman. Like she has a past. She's poor. There's a part there where she talks to Mia, and when Mia's cleaning up the party, and she's like, you don't even know how to hold a mop. I had to clean people's houses in high school for money. So, I mean, it's a good thing that she does come from a background that's different from the one she's now accustomed to.
Okay, well, before I go into my concern about Mia and Sophia, let's talk about Mia and Haverstock.
Which is the biggest thing.
Yes. So Haverstock shows up at the party. I guess Kyle set it up. I guess they arranged something. Go ahead, man.
But let's just also say that because Bob and Sophia were having this big party, Mia decides to have a party at the house with all her friends because she's going through this whole thing because she wants to rebel. So she has this big party, and so now.
Well, I mean, what's crazy?
They're like, this old dude is here.
Right, which is really funny. And what's funny is when you first see them, you're used to Haverstock being such a booty hound that even when Mia walks down the hall, you're looking at that face, that like perv face, and he looks like it's like, oh, I know she's my daughter, so I can't. He just has that whole pervy like aura about him. It's really gross. But that's what I'm saying, John Larroquette. He's playing the hell out of this part. I got to give him love. But she comes down the hall and he asks to speak with her, privately.
And she knows who he is. She's a very smart girl. She knows he's a senator.
She does know who he is, and she knows, his relationship to the family on a surface level.
No, she doesn't, because you remember he has to tell her when they go in there, hey, I used to be good friends with your father.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you're right. He did mention that to her. So they actually end up speaking, I guess, in another room or whatever, and he drops the bomb on her.
He drops the bomb. I am your father. And she's just like, whoa, like, she said, I can do the math here. And he's like, yeah, I know. I had a relationship with your mother. She was underage, obviously, but I loved her. And it's kind of a weird thing. I feel sorry for the girl. She's gone through a lot.
This is
Find
really
out
weird.
her sister's a mom, her dad's this old senator guy.
I mean, wouldn't she think that? Like, you're ew. I'm like, ew, you're my dad as a perv.
What did Haverstock accomplish by telling her that? The whole thing.
Well, she knows. I mean, it's kind of like when somebody's searching for a parent or a parent searching for. I mean, now that all this drama is happening, and now that she knows that her mother was really Vivian, it's like the obvious question that would next would be like, well, who's my dad?
I get that, but I just don't think that it was his place to, I need to speak to you privately. Just the whole thing just seemed out of place, and I just felt like,
well, we're way beyond etiquette at this point.
Right.
I mean, these situations have nothing to do with etiquette or protocol or who's out of line. Everybody is being very deceptive.
And no one was going to tell her. She's asked Julian, she's asked Sophia, nobody told her. So he technically is her father, so he does have a right to tell her, I guess. But I feel like it's not because of a reason that's like an intrinsic, deep reason. It's not because in the last episode, he tells Julian, they took my only daughter away from me. I really don't think, he doesn't come off as a sensitive kind of guy. I really honestly think he wanted her to know who he was because he's using this as part of his pawn in his game.
Right.
He's got a plan.
He's definitely going to use it to his advantage on one level or the next. Haverstock, he is a thorn in everybody's backsides right now.
I will say for next week, though.
Do we have any quick predictions for next week?
Yes.
We'll start with you, Megan, go.
Yes, I think we're going to find out more about, well, I think Edward may die. Saying.
What?
I think he may die.
Wow.
Press conference about his family.
Okay, Bam.
My prediction is Catherine Lanasa, she tweeted me and said that she had broke her arm, and I asked if she would come onto the show, and she said, I'm sorry, the music's throwing me off. Catherine, she tweeted me saying that she couldn't come onto the show because her arm was broke, and she broke her arm on set doing a fight. So she also hinted to me that that was a spoiler alert, that she fights someone. So that's what happened. So we're going to have to figure out who she fights. I probably predict that it's going to be Joanna.
Oh, that's a good prediction. My prediction for next week is stay tuned and see what happens because I'm not sure. It's been throwing left and right punches at me. It's been throwing curves at me since 2 weeks ago. Anyway, where can we find you guys until next week?
Twitter at Meg Scoop, like scoop of ice cream.
Twitter, Instagram, Bamm Ericsen.
Twitter, Club Thaddeus, CoubThaDdeus. Until next time.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.